Hi there, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Springboard Hangout. The Springboard Hangout, as you know, is your fun-educated program where we have fun and learn about different issues that concern our lives. My name is Comfort Ocran. Today, I have been privileged to be joining the studio with somebody with a petrochemical background, a construction background, and he tells stories now for his living. If he were to roll back his life and reset, what will he do and what will he not do? Today, join me as we welcome the one and only Matthew Ansah. He is the team lead at Lyme Haus. Matthew, you are most welcome.
Thank you very much. I am privileged to be seated here with you.
Now, I know you want to get into Matthew's story, but hold on a second. We're going for a short commercial break. When we return, roll back the time and reset. Don't go anywhere. Call someone, let the person join us, or share with us where you're joining us. It's a privilege to come your way one more day.
Get me York's rent a car. I need a car in 15 minutes. Hi, I'm Jake Morris, and I travel globally. But when I'm in Ghana, York's Rent a Car is my reliable choice for safety and comfort on the road. York's Rent a Car provides comprehensive logistics services to mainly blue chip companies as well as individual clients.
At the time, we needed a car rental service, and York's fitted in very well per our standards.
Their services is top-notch. Drivers are on time.
It was beautiful to see them behind the wheels. And anytime they pick up a guest, the guests were very, very happy.
Already? Excellent. York's Rent a Car provides services and expertise that include meet and greet services at the airport, car rental, driver personal outsourcing, and vehicle detailing. What's the problem? It's you. I told you. York's Rent a Car delivers world-class service to its customers, having their highest safety and comfort in mind. So watch you. Go over and open for him. York's Rent a Car runs 24/7 operations where customers can make car reservations and inquiries of our services online and also call our hotline.
Welcome back to the Springboard Hangout. As I said, we were having someone who is mixing petrochemicals, construction, storytelling, and everything in between. And he's going to reset his life for us. And Matthew Ansah is a team lead for Lyme Haus. And Matthew, welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Comfort.
No, you know it's Comfort. Without
I'm humbled to be here, so let me permit you. Thank you, Comfort.
You tell stories for your life.
Exactly.
So if I were to ask you, Matthew, tell us your story. What stands out? Well, if you cast your mind back, what stands out in your life story that you would like to share with us this evening? What's one outstanding story?
A gentleman who's been picked up by grace, who wears different hats, does different things at different times, known by people for different things, and is on a journey. We are not there yet. We haven't even started. we haven't even started. We're still crawling, and grace is carrying us. But it's an exciting story because I look at my life and I see different pieces coming together nicely and perfectly. That tells me that God is perfectly involved in it. Right from school. So the interesting part is I went to Infantsville, a proud MOBA, and I know you're excited about that too.
I am. No, I'm not.
So I did general arts. By the time I was going to the next level, tertiary, I was torn between going to GIJ and the University of Ghana. It was just because I had love for radio.
Okay.
I don't know how that started, when it started, but I remember years ago, one day after a program on Peace FM, I just called the front desk and I said I wanted to talk to a gentleman called Willie Ashley. He was hosting an evening program. For some reason, he came to listen to me, and I told him that, okay, Willie, please, I want to be a radio presenter just like you. And you know, it's not common for you to call a radio presenter who says, come and meet me. No, this was after SS. Okay. So Willie actually asked me to come and meet him, and he said, okay, anytime I'm going to the studio, I'll make sure I go in with you. That was so rare. So he had an evening program. He would sneak me in sometimes. And with time,
the way how even now you're saying sneak me in. Go on.
And with time, he formalized it. So when P7 was at Mile 7, he would work in there with me, and I was just watching, observing. I just had love for it. So eventually, I gained admission at the business school, and I had to do admin, and I chose marketing. There was an interesting bit about the marketing. In level 200, we're supposed to, no, 300, we're supposed to choose, the major. I had accounting, banking, and finance, and for some reason, some friends influenced me to choose banking and finance. And for 2 nights,
oh dear,
it was just restlessness for me. I couldn't sleep until I called a lecturer friend and said, this is what's happening. I know deep within I'm supposed to do marketing. I don't know what came over me, and I managed to change that. And I just realized I was doing what I loved. And it's one of the things that drives me. Once I know I'm doing what I love, it comes naturally, the passion, the energy. So I pursued marketing, but radio came up again in level 100. So I had opportunity to go and audition, kind of, at Radio Universe. Yeah. And I got picked. And that was an exciting moment for me. We started casting. So we started by producing. You go write stories, and it's not an easy journey. But before you get opportunity, one of my producers used to say, before you smell the mic, you must write as many stories as possible. So we're always going out looking for stories. Then I kind of graduated and became an on-air presenter.
So how did you feel when you look back on your journey from someone who used to sneak into studios to someone who is now a presenter on sets? How did you feel?
It was fulfilling. It was fulfilling. I just felt like this was grace at work. Because I remember when we went for the audition at Radio Universe, I came back, I wasn't so okay with my performance. I think I just set some high standards for myself. But I was told that I was one of the people who really impressed the panel. And I was like, okay, wow. So looking back, I mean, I sat on air hosting Campus Exclusive, which was a morning show, and it felt really good. And I always thought I was going to do radio forever. Okay. Later, I got opportunity to host a program called Viewpoint. That was the program Bernard Avle had hosted before he left campus. So that was another privilege. Then it took me a notch higher now. I had opportunity to interview radio politicians, big shots here and there. So I knew I was going somewhere. But radio ceased after school, interestingly. Why? So along the way, I encountered Professor Bob Henson.
Yeah, he will definitely shift you. Go tell us a story.
So Prof, wherever you are, I salute you. Prof changed a lot of things about me. He told me that, so he was my marketing lecturer. Yeah. I became friends with quite a number of lecturers. And
beautiful soul. Thank you, Prof, for all you've done for everybody who has passed through you.
I'm telling you, yeah. Prof became my #1 mentor. And he showed me that you need to go through the process. I remember he told me that, Matthew, he asked what my interest was, whether to be his TA or to go out there. And I said, now it looks like I'm enjoying marketing and communication, so I want to pursue it after school. Then he said, you know what, the best place to pursue a career in marketing and communications is an advertising agency. Yeah. So if you're willing to do, okay, I'll introduce you to somebody. And Prof he brought some discipline into my life.
I like that.
And he caused me to prepare for the unexpected. Yeah. I remember he could call. One day he drove to Pent, where I was, around 4:30 a.m. Yeah. So, Matthew, where are you? Come right now. We have to go to the office. 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And I followed him there.
Yeah.
Someone would complain, but I just followed him and I was just learning. I remember one Sunday, I was just there when he called me. Matthew, where are you? I said, Prof, I'm at the hostel. Okay, dress up like you're going for a good event and come right now. You know what?
What?
He was going to MC a wedding
Uh-huh.
at the University of Ghana guest house.
Yeah.
And I think he had an emergency.
Okay.
So he just called me to come and replace him. Just like that. And interestingly, that was another journey in my life. You know, a part of me is an MC for corporate and social events.
Really?
I've been MCing for the past so many years.
Really?
Lots of events, birthdays, weddings, corporate events. And it started from there. Even though I was doing it, you know, on campus because of the radio job, we're doing it for maybe some whole week or, you know, end of year dinner and all of that. But when I gained that confidence to step in the shoes of Professor Henson, that was it. I did the event, it was good, the couple, the people were happy, and I felt like, okay, now I can do it. So I started looking, you know, beyond me that this could be possible. So I had to now, so there was radio, there was marketing and communications, there was MCing, and I was singing at the same time, and I wanted to become a musician.
So when did you decide, Matthew, that, okay, I'm going to let this become my focus? And what happened? What triggered that focus?
It still goes back to Professor Henson.
Okay.
So in my final year, just when I was about exiting Legon, Prof, for whatever reason, was having a business relationship with a Nigerian, I've forgotten her name, but her business was Edelman PR.
Okay.
And they were coming to Ghana to run some, you know, PR business for a number of firms here. And Prof said I could do it. So that was my first freelance job, and I had to take it up. And we were managing big brands. I remember that was when one of Philip's major entry into Ghana, Access Bank, and I was doing audits, fiscal brand audits for Access Bank. I had just left school. So I'll go back to him. This is what I'm doing. Is there anything I can do about it? And he just tutored and mentored me. And I did not realize, I'm enjoying this. There are events involved. I mean, there's some creativity involved here. And so it became seamless for me. Then he connected me to Originate and Art Space. And I started my national service there and started full work. So after my national service, by the grace of God, it became evident that I was an asset, so they had to retain me.
They had to retain you.
They had
Such
to.
pride.
They couldn't afford to lose me.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford to lose me. Interestingly, my immediate line manager left a few, I don't know whether it was even up to a year. He left to be on the client side.
Yeah.
And I mean, the next step was for them to bring another person. But I think I was doing well by the grace of God.
Not that you think, you were doing well.
I'm trying to be humble. So I just ran his accounts, and that's how it was an exciting time at Art Space. You know, having brainstorming session with creatives. You know, managing client business here and there, and all of that. And that was another phase. Then another major breakthrough came when Mr. Joanette started Results Advertising.
Yes.
I don't know what he also saw, because I wasn't even very close to him at Art Space. I was working for both Art Space and in Originate because they were sister companies. So for some brands, I was Originate. For other brands, I was Art Space GDB. And my general manager then was different. I don't know what Joel saw. He called me and he said, I want you to join me at Results Advertising. He just started. So I was part of the first generation.
The first cohort to start Originate.
Results Advertising.
In that
small box Akanda.
By the wayside.
Exactly.
It's almost like it was a glorified kiosk.
Oh, you said it all perfectly. So there was a lot of woodwork, so you can imagine.
Yes.
That was it.
I remember remember we came there, we came to pray, you know, because I mean we believed in Joel's vision, and we still do, you know, we are still very good friends with Joel.
Man.
You know, he's a big man. Yeah. So you were the original.
So I think I was the first account manager for Resource Advertising.
Wow.
And again, the confidence he reposed in me to tell me, okay, go out there, we're going to pitch for this business, we're going to pitch for that business. And it's like, hey, this man, he just pushed me. We go into a meeting and says, okay, Matthew, take over. And that was it. And it gave me another, development, another perspective to life that, okay, if the person believes you can do it, go ahead and do it. And I think I had one of my best moments, was at Results, because we created some different things. Yeah. I remember rebranding of Enterprise Group. We worked with you there. Yes. First Atlantic Bank rebranding, and quite a number of these were projects from scratch. So you had to lead a team to brainstorm, interface clients, and it was good. So it really boosted my confidence. Oh, me too, I get something inside me. Something inside so strong.
Something inside so strong.
Yeah.
So that something that was so strong in you.
Yeah.
Do you think it led you in other spaces as well? Because you're doing well on the professional space. But are there other aspects of Matthew that we haven't yet explored?
Yes.
What aspects would you like us to look at?
So there is the music side. Let me bring that in. So in 2011, so right from childhood, but let me talk about campus days. I was the music director for my church then, Apostolic Church. And I love music and I write music. I write songs.
You write songs?
I write a lot of songs.
You write a lot of songs?
Yes, and I've written a lot of songs.
And have you recorded any?
So I launched an album in 2011.
Wow.
And I went on a long break.
So the songs you've been writing, what have you been doing with them?
So we've been singing them at church. But the good news is that I'm working on an album
collection
that I'll release this year.
Wow.
I'm in the studio as we speak now.
Okay.
This is the first time I'm saying this anywhere.
That Matthew is in the studio, is going to record his second album.
Yes.
And you would listen to it very soon in this space. Don't I mean we have breaking news only
exclusive
on the hangout.
Exclusive.
I see.
Yes.
Tell us more.
So in the course of that journey, God led me to Pastor Joe Beecham, the renowned Pastor Joe Beecham. I remember I invited him to grace the occasion. He came against all odds. He was in Sunyani. How he managed to come to Accra, only God knows. And since then, we became friends. Then he became a father, and I became a PA till now. So I'm his personal assistant now. Not many people know, but if you want to invite him today, if you go, you come back to me. I'll be the one to pick your call or to respond to your messages. And following him has been a blessing to my music ministry. And so, yes, so that's one aspect that people don't know. As for emceeing, I've done a lot of events, so people know that part of me. And the other exciting thing people do not know is my career has taken different shapes.
Yeah. Tell us, let's explore a bit along that route.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I left Results in 2013, 2014. Just when I left, I just had a strong feeling that, marketing and communications will never part ways. So I registered a company called Lyme Haus. But the name Lyme Haus had been with me from school because I had a friend who he actually brought the name. He's called Cleopas. We decided to start a TV show. So I had the idea. It was called You Talk, something for the youth. And we shot a few editions, but sponsorship not, so it didn't happen. If it was today, we'll be on Facebook and we'll be fine. So that didn't happen, but I still kept the name. Then I registered a company to go into marketing and communication. That was in 2013. So when I moved, I went straight into real estate. So I worked with Wonder World Estates and Petronia City. That was for Nana Kwame Bediako.
Yeah.
So I was with Nana Kwame for 3 years. A lot of people do not know this.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed my stay there also because I learned different things. And I think that's one thing God opened my eye to. Wherever I've been, I try to see what my bosses are doing and pick the lessons from it. A lot of people I see would be craving, the luxury, the cars, the things that they see their bosses drive, but they are not interested in what is he doing right that's bringing this. And I thank God that he gave me that insight then. And so Nana Kwame, I learned a lot of things.
So what are some of the things, do you mind sharing some of the things you learned from both Nana Kwame
from both and Mr. Nete?
Yes.
Yes. So Mr. Nete is a very...
So please take your pens out. Now we are drawing lessons. Yeah.
Mr. Nete is a very, very spiritual man. And I learned that, you have to take God owns the business.
Yeah.
And so you need to consult God whenever you're making serious decisions. I mean, the minor and the major decisions, if he's the owner, you need to consult him. And even with Nana Kwame, it was the same thing. I learned that this man is a serious giver. There were things he was doing a lot of people did not know. So I can't say all of them on set, but I just, no. So you see that the man is prospering and you're wondering, what he's doing some wild things for God that you may not be privy to. And Nana is a serious visionary, very focused, very determined. If he says, I'm going to sell you this, no matter who you are, he will sell you this. By the time he's done with you, he sold it. And there were times he would have meetings with us and he says, I want to do this. And it didn't make sense to any of us. He would just force it. By the time we realized it's done, seamless, excellent. I'm like, wow. So I saw like a different kind of young man, very determined, there's nowhere he cannot go. And I had a different personality. I'm the shy type. I'm like, God, give me a little of Nana's personality trait so that I would also be very confident, in implementing certain things. So I learned a lot.
So you learned
visionary works and focusing on your vision.
Focusing on the vision.
On the vision.
You also learned about God and taking God serious.
Taking God seriously in everything. I learned about like integrity, at Nana's place. When people come, they want to take away. But I realized that, you can take spiritually, but not physically. When you pick the right lessons from him, when you do what he does, then you are plucking into, the spirit realms, and those things would work well for you.
So you learned integrity.
Integrity was key. I also learned humility from, as for humility from Professor Hinsing, Mr. Kwesi Esin, Mr. Nete, Nana is humble, very humble. Okay. Sometimes he wants to serve and you're like, hey, this man who just came out of this car and he wants to serve me, So I learned a lot from them. I also learned something, that you need to go through the process.
You need to go through the process.
Go through the process. It may take you years. Sometimes the vision may not come out very well. I mean, look at where it started from. Along the way, I realized that radio had a serious connection with what I'm doing now. Communications. You need, those radio insights, the practical. Exactly. Because there were times on my CV, you would see, I remember before Apollonia hired me, one of the things they considered was my radio background. And I was like, wow, I never thought that way back at Legon, many years ago, it could count in here. So that's also very important, like knowing that the different pieces would come together nicely once you follow the process. Then I also learned that along the way, you need to move out of your comfort zone.
Moving out of your comfort zone.
Yes. At Nana's place, I realized that, so over there, Apollonia came calling, and the money was good. So I had to the money was good, so sometimes when the money is good, you need to move.
It's good. So, you said, okay, I think it's time for me to also enjoy.
Small, no coffee.
Right.
And when Apollonia came calling, it was very easy. I think one of the things, throughout my life, one of the things which has made it easy for me to make certain decisions is the God factor.
Okay.
I want to hear the voice of God before I take a move. Before I make a move. Once I make the move, I know it is going to happen, like it will be well. Because I didn't just move, I heard the voice of God. And in all circumstances, it was clear out there that it was time to move. It was just Apollonia that I delayed a little.
Okay, so even though this is not, I just want to know, if you're a young person starting right now or listening to you today, you're a young person listening right now, and you've heard people talk about hearing the voice of God, which is conviction.
Exactly.
How do you hear for you that voice of God?
$1 million question.
Yes, but we want to know. That's what Hangouts is all about.
Exactly.
Hanging out to find out how do people do it, and therefore how can I apply it in my life?
In my case, the voice of God comes in various forms.
Okay.
One, because I have built myself by the grace of God to have a relationship with God. Sometimes in my personal Bible study, I see a scripture and I know it's an answer to something I've been praying about or I've been pondering over. It's very clear, like it jumps at you. Another way is through my dreams. I always tell my wife that when my dream drops, that means it's happening the next minute, and we know it. So I don't joke with my dreams at all. It's one way, and it's biblical. To the extent that God was revealing national issues through dreams. In the case of Joseph and Daniel, it means dreams must be taken seriously. So so dreams are another way. Then also in church, when there's a sermon, the Logos Rhema relationship. Everybody is listening, but God will have a word for you while you're paying attention to it. And sometimes it just comes with that, like from that inner voice. You know that this is what you are hearing deep within. That's still small voice. And you know it is God. Then I also believe in prophecies. So sometimes when any of my spiritual fathers calls me and says, this, it is just dito.
Prophecies that confirm what you are thinking about, or exactly. Just that they say, oh, there's rice in the kitchen, so go and take it.
Oh, did. So two things: prophecies that confirm what you're already thinking about, or what the questions you are asking. Then prophecies that go ahead of you. So the times, one of the places I worked, when I was I didn't know I was going to leave. I had a waiting period, out of Accra with one of my spiritual fathers. We were praying, and he told me that, okay, in this month, you're going to move from here. The company you are going to is A, B, and C, like TV3, GTV, Springboard, hangout. Clear like that. Springboard TV.
So you've not had any prophecy about coming to Springboard?
Oh, it's come in several forms. It's coming. See, when I met you and Reverend Albert Ocran many years ago, I knew our path will cross again. I just didn't know when. So when circumstances brought us, I knew that some way, somehow. Some way, somehow. The Bible says, we see in part, and we we see in part. So sometimes it may be hazy, but So this was one of those. So when he called me, I said, the prophecy is coming to pass.
And I don't know what prophecies are coming to pass in your life.
Yes.
But we've been talking to Mr. Matthew Ansah, team lead at Lyme Haus. He was telling us about his life, about how his journey from radio into advertising space, into MCship, even into singing and all in between. It's been very exciting, and you know I told you so. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll explore more about this exciting journey.
Get me York's Rent-A-Car. I need a car in 15 minutes. Hi, I'm Jake Morris, and I travel globally. But when I'm in Ghana, York's Rent-A-Car is my reliable choice for safety and comfort on the road. York's Rent-A-Car provides comprehensive logistics services to mainly blue-chip companies as well as individual clients.
At the time, we needed a car rental service, and York's fitted in very well to our standards.
Their services is top-notch. Drivers are on time.
It was beautiful to see them behind the wheels. And anytime they pick up a guest, the guests were very, very happy.
Already? Excellent. York's Rent-A-Car provides services and expertise that include meet and greet services at the airport, car rental, driver personal outsourcing, and vehicle detailing.
What's the problem? It's you. I told you. York's Rent-A-Car delivers world-class service to its customers, having their highest safety and comfort in mind. So watch you. Two of us are open for him.
York's Rent-A-Car runs 24/7 operations where customers can make car reservations and inquiries of our services online and also call our hotline.
Thank you and welcome back to the Springboard Hangout. The Springboard Hangout, as you know, it's your fun-educative program where we look at issues that concern us and find to find solutions to them. My name is Comfort Ocran. Today, I've been joined in the studio by Mr. Matthew Ansah, CEO or team lead, as he likes to be called, of Lyme Haus. You know, Matthew has been telling us a fascinating story about going to MOBA. Yeah, shout out to all the MOBA guys around, and and going to UBS,
yeah,
and then also going into his professional life as a marketing person, singer, a person of God or a man of God, and everything in between. You know, sometimes when you listen to such stories or when you listen to such life engagements, you are like, this person has it all made. Has it? Is that true? Was there no time that you had any setbacks or anything that made you wonder if it will be or it not will be?
There have been several occasions like that. Especially when it comes to job transition, you are not certain, even when you are moving based on what you've heard in your spirit. There have been several occasions. Typically, you are running a client's project. Let's say you have an event. So I can go back to the days of advertising in my previous jobs. And everything rests on your shoulder. The client expects you to deliver. Sometimes people don't know what happens behind the stage, behind the scene.
The stories you can tell behind the stage.
It's crazy, but you end up seeing, the pomp, the beautiful scenes, but it's a lot of war backstage.
Bloodshed.
A lot of war backstage. I remember the first time I traveled this was Sierra Leone, for a project for one of our clients. I was supposed to spend 2 days. I got there and it rained throughout the 2 days. I couldn't step out of my hotel. I'm like, do I come? When I come, what report am I coming to give? And do I say that? It's been raining throughout, so I couldn't go out. But that was a major setback. I still had to make it work. So it means deny yourself whatever. It's raining heavily, but go out there and get the work done and come back and report well. And I remember when Lyme Haus started, one of the first projects I worked on, that was Flag of Fame. It was out of my own pocket. The idea came, and I was so passionate about making this happen. We're not getting sponsorship anywhere, and I take my salary. So that's what I was doing. When Lyme Haus started on the side, I was still working. So I take my salary, and that becomes capital
for Lyme Haus.
For Lyme Haus, and you have to sacrifice, to make it happen. You pump it into it, it doesn't come back. And even when I finally decided to move from Apollonia to Lyme Haus, it was the same thing. I looked at how much I was earning at Apollonia City and how much Lyme Haus could pay me. It was so uncomfortable. About 4 times.
Less.
4 times less. You look at here, you are taking something $1,000, and you are taking something CDs. And the CDs and dollars, they are not friends. So it comes with, it's a serious setback because you have family, you are used to a certain kind of, lifestyle, expenditure and all of that. But now you have to cut back down. Like 4 times. And it's not easy. There are times you have sleepless nights because you have a project to implement. The client doesn't even know you. They don't believe whether I can implement. You have to prove a point.
Yeah. Or
you're going to pitch for a project. You're writing a proposal and you're spending nights. You're wondering whether it go be or not go be. Or you have to go and make a presentation to a client. You enter the boardroom, you see, people in their 40s, 50s, straight faced, then you have to make everything, your spirit will run. You have to just find a way. You have to be like the Queen of Sheba. My spirit left me. You have to find a way to call the spirit back. Exactly, so you can deliver. So there are several setbacks, but I think,
what holds you in those times?
It is God. I will not mince words. It is God. The fact that I know God is in this gives me that confidence that it will go well or it will end well. So I know that my favorite scripture is Romans 8:28. All things work together. All things. So whether good, bad, or whatever it is, all things.
It will work out.
So I tell my team,
but in the
be positive.
fullness of time.
Exactly.
So
if you can wait,
if you can wait, but sometimes you don't want to wait.
That's the problem.
The thing must be instant now.
That's why you have to believe in the process.
You have to believe in the process.
You have to believe. Now we've left believing the process to the footballers. Now the Man United and the Arsenal believe in the process. Trust the process.
The Chelseas.
Oh, we are in trouble. But we are preparing for next season. We are still trusting the process.
When you were trusting the process, people were laughing.
But you're not there yet, too.
Oh no, but we are almost there.
Things look nicer and better now.
They are better. They are better. We are getting.
But it's sad you Ole left. We really wanted Ole to remain, so that he still win the process.
No, thank you. You mentioned family, and I want to bring that beautiful aspect of you to our viewers.
Yes.
What does family look like?
Family is everything to me. So my family of procreation, I come from a family of 6 children. I'm the last but one.
Hey, almost Dadaba.
Almost Dadaba, but I'm not Dadaba at all. I have some stories at Tantra Hills and Mount 7 where I grew up. But so I'm married with 3 kids.
Whoa.
Amazing. Whoa. I look like some 24-year-old. That's what people say. And I think family means a lot to me. I think one of the things I was always concerned about and prayed about was the choice of a life partner, because we've read stories, seen different people's experiences of what marriage could do.
Yeah.
Either to
negatively or positively.
Exactly.
No. Which one had you seen?
Both.
But which one influenced you in the choice of a life partner?
Oh, the positive.
The positive.
Okay.
And
And I must say that, the combat union is one of the things that inspired me. I'm not saying this because I'm here, but I remember when we met during the enterprise rebranding process. Yeah. I just admired how Rev will come, deliver a very nice presentation. After that, you come and I'm saying, this thing is sweet too. Like, it can be that easy. If you get somebody who believes in your vision and you run together, it will be that beautiful. And fortunately, I I married a woman who is also business-like.
Okay.
She's tougher than I am.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
My wife, she deals in auto parts, so you can, yes.
Yeah.
When she finished her master's, she said she wanted to go into auto parts business, and that's where she's been now. She just started another business. It's a food business. And how she started that business, amazing. We're just there, she had an idea. She started ordering stuff equipment from China. Like play. The business has started, and she's doing very well. And because of, her toughness and certain things I lack, she really compliments me.
Okay.
She can give me pressure.
Good
when we have to do something. Sometimes I go, but I know it's good pressure.
It's good pressure.
Good pressure.
You.
It gets me to do things, Some of the
yeah.
tough decisions. When I speak to her, I mean, whatever she tells me, I trust that it's the wisdom of God. And so far, it's been great. And we have three wonderful kids, 2 boys, 1 girl, and we have a beautiful family by the grace of God.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really lovely to hear.
And the children look like me.
But you never supposed to call her name.
Gifty
Hey,
Ansah.
Gifty, I beg you,
popularly
please.
known as Ajwa.
Auntie Ajwa, I have nothing to do with this one. Auntie Ajwa, I mean, he's praising you here. I mean, you are the one who holds the family together. And thank you for not just believing in your dream, but believing in his as well.
Yeah.
And knowing that together you can make things happen.
Exactly.
In the Ansah household.
Hallelujah.
And she's with you with the ministry and
yes.
oh.
She's there. She's always there. Sometimes I can just run
How
and
did you
forget.
meet her?
Very interesting story.
Tell us.
So, in 3rd year at the business school, she was doing BA. She came for a free elective at the business school. The only free elective she picked. I sat in that first class. I'm not, I'm quite shy. So I'm not good with approaching ladies. Like I meet you and because I always think that, what if you say no? What happened? You just
What you
bust
want to
my
say
bubble.
is that you had POP.
Oh
Yes, you had a PhD in POP. Just say it.
plasterboard.
Just say it.
No. I felt like the connection would definitely happen.
Okay.
And I believe in the right time, So,
Okay, you go on.
So for some reason, I walked up to her and said, "Hi, lady, how are you doing?" Exchange numbers, just like that. It was something so uncharacteristic of me, but I did that.
My eyes are open. For somebody who has a PhD in POP, you just went to the young lady and
grace.
When
the anointing comes.
So you operated under the anointing.
And when the anointing comes, I'll just finish and just move on. So we exchanged numbers. We never called each other till we left school. I went out. She also had a life. Moved on after several years. One day I was just going through my contacts and I realized the same way I'd saved the number, I just called her. "Oh, how are you doing?" I called to check up. It felt like we had been talking for years. So another time I called and I invited her to church. When she came to church, and I was like, to do or not to do. I don't know why I was even thinking that way, because I didn't believe in short term.
Exactly.
I believe in years to know the person.
Exactly. I believe in that as well.
I don't know how that happened. So I called her the 3rd time. I think she was in China. We had a video call. And when she came back, I invited her over to church again. One thing led to the other. After 6 months, we're getting married. So I can't even tell. And we always tell people this story is something else. Like we just met back then, and that was it. We never communicated. We had our lives and so far it's been great. She really pushes me to do a lot of things ordinarily I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have done.
So in a sense, he's the Nana Kwame in your life.
Yes. At every point in time, God gives me somebody who would, drive me to do crazy things or to do wild things. Like, I can't take God out of my life. Otherwise, I'm nothing.
Without him, absolutely
I'm
nothing. I agree with you completely.
Nothing.
Matthew, just today, I was rewatching a video by Tyler Perry.
Okay.
And he was talking about climbing and sustaining, about the power of prayer and worship. And he was talking about the fact that once in his life, when he was going to open a studio, and his studio that he's opened.
Exactly.
And he was going through some turbulent times. And interestingly, his team came across, as they were going through old things in that studio, they came across a letter that was written in the year he was born.
Wow.
Written by a 13-year-old boy.
Wow.
Who was writing to somebody in the future.
Amazing.
Amazing. And that was the year he was born.
Wow.
So, as we are getting ready to wrap this up, if you had the occasion to speak to somebody's life, another 30 years from now, about how to reset your life and everything, what would you say? And this one is from you direct to our audience.
If I had to reset my life, one of the things, I think there are about 4 things I would want to reset. 1, to be closer to God than I have been, or maybe I was in the past. Because it's a learning curve, and it's a process, a journey. You always want to improve, do better than you were doing in the past. But I believe that maybe years ago, if I was closer, if I was praying a bit more, sometimes naturally you grow tired, you go weary, because of the issues of life. That would have done me a lot of good. But I thank God that he set me back on track, and
despite everything, he still
everything,
has mercy on you.
Grace and mercy have carried me. Then I think I would have read more books than I have read. I think honestly speaking, my love for reading started when I was at the university.
Okay.
So you can imagine the number of books I would have read back in SS or even in GSS. Readers are leaders. And so it's important that the things you're looking for, somebody has lived them, somebody has experienced them, and is written them down for you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go and start afresh and, go through the same falls and rise. Once you grab a book, you'll find it in there. So I would have read more than I have done in my time. And for some career decisions, maybe I would have been bolder, in taking certain decisions faster or quicker than I did. I think I look back at what God is doing with Lyme Haus, and I feel like maybe if I moved earlier than, I did from Apollonia to Lyme Haus, because I was in my comfort zone, everything was going on. The job was going well, the people liked me, the brand was doing well. I was getting my laurels there, but I saw the speed, the intensity when I moved full time to Lyme Haus, and I've been asking myself, if I did it earlier, maybe 2 years earlier, I'm sure we would be somewhere. But grace is still carrying us. So as a young man, sometimes you have to be bold when God asks you to take a step. Be confident. Trust that once it's the voice of God, He will lead you through. He will take you to the end, and so you should be able to take that bold step when it is time. I think, have I mentioned 3 or 4? Then last one, if I had the opportunity to, reset, I would spend more time with my mentors and role models. I think that's one thing I haven't been able to do. When I have the opportunity, we talk, I try to, glean something from them, but making a conscious step to sit at their feet to learn. We are now doing them, but let's say if I did them years ago, there were a lot of business lessons we would have learned. I did a lot of learning from afar, from a distance, but maybe there are some secrets you would not see when you are afar. When you get closer, that's when you get to hear. Because the truth is, there are some secrets that will never be out there. I mean, they can't sit on TV and share all their secrets. You have to spend time. You have to be like John. John, the brother of James. John would always go and get the secrets from Jesus and come and tell the rest that, you know what,
Charlie,
it's
this
this
is
and
the
that.
way.
Then Peter wants to get the filler from John. You know, so if I was able to spend more time, I'm sure it would have really helped. But grace and mercy have carried us, and we are correcting the wrongs, and we are still doing. So please, young man, take these 4 things seriously. Find a mentor, find a role model, spend time with them. You know, they will teach you the rights and wrongs, and you know that your life means that spend more time with God. You know, build a stronger relationship with God. Then when you have to make a move, and you know your conviction tells you that this is God at work, please don't doubt him. Just make the move. And vindication is in the womb of time, and God himself will prove himself in due time. And the last one I mentioned was, books. Please take them seriously. Reverend Albert has been talking about books. If you have not been reading books, Madam Comfort has been talking about, if you have not been reading, please, this is the time to start.
If you haven't been reading books, this is the time to start. And with that, we've come to the end of another exciting edition of the Springboard Hangouts. We are so grateful to you, Matthew, for spending time with us and being in the studios with us this evening. And thank you also for watching us this evening. On Sunday, you will come your way again on ETV, so I pray that you make time to listen to it again. As well as at 7 o'clock, kindly join Albert with Nashoko as they shock you on the Springboard Virtual University. It's going to be at 7 o'clock on Joy FM or on Facebook or on YouTube. And so until we come your way again next week, it has been the beginning of the recess session on Springboard, your virtual university. Life is so good, and life is what you make it, especially when you love God, you read books, you should see your mentors, and most importantly, when it's time to be bold, you go out there believing in the grace of God that he has endowed you with. And I tell you, with God, all things are possible. We love you, and until we come your way again next week, you are blessed, you are loved, and most importantly, you are the beloved of God. Good night.